Good morning, good afternoon and good evening boys and girls for whenever you're watching this video. Today we're looking at our second lesson in our sequence of lessons on time. So yesterday, if you remember, we looked at different measures of time. We looked at seconds, we looked at minutes, and we looked at hours with the main three and then a few more after that. Well, today we're taking that one step further and we're looking at one of the devices that we talked about yesterday in the PowerPoint about how to measure time. And that device is a clock face. So that is our clock face there. I'll just put that on for you if I can get this to work. And there we go. So a simple clock face has 12 different numbers written on it. It goes from number 1 all the way up to number 12 at the top there. There are how many minutes in an hour? Does anyone remember from yesterday? There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So the time it takes for this hand here, the green hand, to move all the way around up to the top will take you 60 minutes because that is the time for 1 hour, and every hour we move this orange hand on one more number. So when we move our clock, our hour, as you can see the hands go round from the top here round this way to the right hand side of the clock. They go round in one big circle until we move all the way back up to the top, and at this point, once we get to the 4, perfect, we have moved on 1 hour. So our green hand here is our minute hand, and as we move along, the minutes on our clock go up. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That means when you go from one number to the next number, you are adding on 5 minutes each time. Now this helps us because this lets us see on our clock face how many minutes have gone by. So let's say we were to move up to the 3 here, our green hand to the 3. If this was 5, the next one would be 10, and that means our third one here at 3 would be 15 because we're counting up in 5s here. So that's just a wee look at our clock face. Let's have a look at going all the way back to this point here. When your minute hand here is pointing at the 12, you have what's called 5 o'clock. When it's 00 or when you're up at the 12, that means you're bang on that hour. So you've just gone round 4 o'clock and bang, when the minute hand hits there, you have 5 o'clock. Now, I talked about it a little bit, but I haven't said it as obviously, that this orange hand here is our hour hand, because if our green hand's our minute hand, our orange hand is for our bigger numbers when we're looking at hours. So the orange hand moves a little bit slowly because hours move slower than minutes. Minutes go round quite quickly. Your minute hand, it looks like. Your orange hand takes a wee bit of time, and in fact it will take 12 hours, so from 12 all the way back round, for our hour hand to get all the way round our clock. So let's move on to another number. Let's go back actually all the way around, and let's go to this one here. Our hour hand is at the 6. Our minute hand is at the 12. What is that time? What is that time, boys and girls? Does anyone have an idea? I am straining to listen. I can hopefully hear you through my video. You're shouting out to me that time would be 6, because that's the hours, o'clock, because we're back at the top there where it shows our o'clock. Move around here to our 9. Oh, back one. Oh, forward one. Now we have 9 o'clock. Because our minute hand, remember, if it's at the 12, it's always o'clock. And it has to be exactly at the 12. because if it's just past the 12 a little bit, it's no longer o'clock, it's actually 1 minute past 12. And that's the same for wherever this minute hand, if it's not at the 12, then you are either 10 minutes past 9, 20 minutes past 9, or if we go around here, for example, 30 minutes past 9, also known as half past. So, we'll pause our wee looking at our clock here, and I'm going to try and figure out a way to show you this. Bear with me. Let's try and move this screen so we can see it. That might work. Move this a bit closer. There, perfect. So what I've written here at the top, examples. I'm going to show you a couple of wee examples. So I'm going to use my can here of energy juice to draw my circle for my clock face. It's going to be a wee bit rough, but we got there in the end. So, at the top, we have our 12, we have our 6, we have our 3, and we have our 9. Those are the 4 main points on a clock. So if I have my big hand here pointing up at my 12 and my little hand here pointing at my 3, what time does that mean? Bad way of saying that. What time is this representing? Well, let's go through it slowly. Start with our hours. So how many hours have we got here? We have 3. And where is our big hand pointing? Up at the 12. So if it's up at the 12, remember it is o'clock. Let's do another one quickly. Drawing round. Now you might have to do this a few times at home for your work this week, boys and girls. Drawing round something. Just take your time to draw your clock face. Putting in our 12, our 6, our 3 and our 9. Let me go for a tricky one here, boys and girls. Here's the middle. We're going up for our 12 for our minutes, but we're also going up. It's quite difficult to see because it'd be normally just one on top of the other. I'll draw it slightly to the side to help you. Both hands are pointing at the 12. What do we think that means? Well, let's break it down. Starting with our hour. It sounds like I'm a dancer. Let's break it down. We'll start with our hour hand, which is on the 12. And where's our minute hand again? It's pointing at 12. So as we should know by now, if it's pointing at 12 and it's on the hour, it is o'clock. Okay. Now your task today, got an email. Your task today, task 1, will be for you to answer questions like this. You're going to get some questions, a worksheet that's asking you to, in fact I'll get it up because it's probably easier for me to show you rather than telling you. Tuesday numeracy worksheet. Okay, so your job is going to, for your worksheet, be having a look at these times here. So the first one says 2 o'clock. It'll be your job to draw the hands, the minute hand and the hour hand on the clock to show me 2 o'clock. Now you'll need to use, probably, unless you've got a printer, you'll have to use a bit of paper like I have and drawing round the clock. So just take your time with that. You're going to show me where will your hour hand point to and where will your minute hand. Remembering 2 o'clock, going back up, jumping a wee bit here. 2 shows us how many hours, and the o'clock tells us that our minute hand must be up at the 12. So for our first one here, our hour hand, our little hand is going to be pointing at the 2, and our big hand is going to be pointing at the 12. But that's not all. I don't know if you've seen just on the way past, but I'm still wearing my pyjamas for earlier on. Ruby, you're right. There's nothing better than having a pyjama day. So, to help you with this task, and if we're still finding it a little bit hard, or if you finish quickly and you want to do an extra wee... What's going on there? An extra wee task to just have a little bit of fun and test yourself. Don't know why this is going very bright all of a sudden. I think, you know what I think it is? I think it's the sun coming in the window. So, no? I suppose this is just going to be a mystery why it's very, very bright. Well, I know exactly why. There we go. Perfect. In darkness. So, what I've done here is I've drawn round a bit of paper, or drawn round a big circle on a bit of paper to give me a blank clock face like so. What your job's going to be, once you've done this task, or if you want a wee bit of help with the task, because this can give us a wee bit of help with it, you're going to make your own clock face. So I'll start with putting our 12 at the top and our 6 at the bottom, like so. And then going to go across for the 3 and across for the 9. So 12, 3, 6, 9, the main points on a clock face. However, how do we fill in these missing gaps? Because that's quite tricky. Because we have 3, we don't have a 4 and a 5, we don't have a 7 and an 8, we don't have a 10 and 11, and we don't have a 1 and a 2. So to help me with that, I'm going to use, should have a ruler, don't have a ruler, I'm using an old textbook instead, and I'm going to put my line here and draw a line, or draw a wee point at the top, a wee point at the bottom for my next 2 numbers here. I'll do the same here. It's going to be a little bit rough, it's not going to be perfect. And there. And I'll do the same, well, I'll do it quickly for here. You can use a ruler if you want to do your lines. You don't have to. It sometimes makes it a little bit easier to spread out the numbers. And we'll put a wee dot here and a wee dot here. So we have number 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is a wee bit far along, 10 and 11, which will give you something that looks like that. I sound like I am on an art show, on Art Attack in fact, that's who used to say that. The guy on Art Attack, Neil Buchanan, used to say, you get something that looks like that. Nothing to do with your work today, I just thought I should share that with you. Now, and another wee line from art shows, here's something I prepared earlier. I've got my minute hand and my hour hand. So, to help me with this, I'm going to use a little bit of blue tack. Now, you might not have blue tack, you might have a wee pin or something, or you could just place the wee arrows, the wee hands on the clock if you don't have something to stick it on. But I'll use a wee bit of blue tack to help me. So I'm going to start by putting my hands on. So I'll go for an O clock, it's up at the 12, and I'll put on my hour hand, and that's going to point at the 3. Showing that my clock is a little bit wonky, otherwise that would have all matched up perfectly. Anyway, giving you a little clock face to do here. Now, you can do this a wee fast finisher when you've done your analog clock task, your worksheet, or you can do this beforehand if you think it will give you a wee help. Then what you can do is you can do a couple of wee designs, something funky because it is your clock, and if you've done all your work today, you can give it a wee colour in. Like that. So, slightly longer video today, and a lot of that was just me waffling. However, Main points are looking at your clock, remembering when the big hand's pointing at the top, it is o'clock. Your little hand tells you how many hours have gone by. They move around from the big number here, 12, to the small numbers, all the way back up to the top, to 12. And when you go all the way around the clock with your big hand here, your minute hand, that shows you 1 hour or 60 minutes. Well, a lot of information to give you. Good luck, boys and girls. If there is anything you're unsure about, or if you want to hear any more stories about Art Attack, you can message me and I can let you know. But I'll be here to help you out and assist with your work today. Good luck, and I will see you later.